Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been seeing all your comments on TikTok asking me for reviews analysis for this one. So today, it's finally happening. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not delay any further and jump right into the details.
Opening things up, our first reviewer gives us their take.
This reviewer found the setup process for this mesh Wi-Fi system to be almost shockingly simple. In contrast to past experiences with networking gear, getting this system running took barely 10 minutes from unboxing to having a fully functional network. The process is managed entirely through a smartphone app, which guided our reviewer through naming the network and setting a password with minimal effort. Even adding the second unit, placed a good distance away behind a thick wall, was as easy as plugging it in. It connected to the main unit automatically within a couple of minutes. The whole experience was so straightforward that this client joked about being annoyed at how little trouble it was. However, this simplicity comes with some trade-offs that more advanced users should be aware of. Management of the network is exclusively done through the mobile app, as there is no web-based interface for those who prefer to configure things from a desktop browser. Our reviewer also noted a few missing features common in other routers, such as the lack of WiFi support and the inability to assign a static IP address to specific devices on the network, which could be a minor headache for things like a network printer. Despite these limitations, the performance was a massive upgrade. Our reviewer reported that in a part of the house that previously struggled with speeds around 30-40 Mbps, this new mesh system delivered a consistently strong signal, pulling down speeds well over 150 Mbps. It was the strongest and fastest connection they'd had in that location. The app is also quite useful for everyday monitoring, clearly identifying all the devices on the network. For anyone needing a wired connection, it is important to note each cube only has one available Ethernet port. Ultimately, this Wi-Fi system seems perfect for anyone wanting reliable internet without any fuss. It's an excellent choice for its ease of use and signal boost, but power users.
Cool, let's uncover what our next reviewer has to say.
This reviewer initially had a fantastic experience with this mesh Wi-Fi system. They noted that the package arrived quickly and was well protected. The setup process, handled through a smartphone app, was described as incredibly fast and straightforward, with no hitches. Adding the satellite nodes to expand the network's reach was also a seamless process, taking only a few seconds. For our reviewer's apartment, which has numerous concrete walls that typically interfere with signal strength, the system provided better coverage than ever before, maintaining consistent speeds without any dips. However, the honeymoon phase ended after about 6 weeks when one of the satellite units suddenly failed. It became stuck on an error light, and despite following the official troubleshooting guide, which included resetting the device, moving it closer to the primary unit, and even swapping the nodes roles, the unit remained unresponsive. Faced with a hardware issue, this client contacted customer service and was impressed by the professionalism of the support agent. After a thorough 30-minute phone call to confirm the fault, they were instructed to email their details for a replacement. The subsequent email support was also outstanding, with a dedicated representative guiding them patiently through the return process and arranging for a new unit to be shipped. Unfortunately, just as our reviewer received the tracking information for their replacement part, the main hub of the system also died. After spending a couple of hours trying to get it working again, they concluded that the primary unit was completely non-functional. What began as a promising experience with a single defective component, backed by excellent customer support, ultimately soured into a complete system failure, raising serious concerns about the product's long-term reliability.
Cool, let's uncover what our next reviewer has to say.
This reviewer, being relatively new to the world of mesh Wi-Fi, has found this system to be a pretty decent solution overall. Our reviewer uses a 2-unit setup, placing one in the hallway and the other in a small room, about 20 feet apart. Both the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands seem to be working well. However, this client noted a couple of drawbacks. The first is the inability to manually select Wi-Fi channels. This system is set to use channel 6 for 2.4 GHz and channel 40 for 5 GHz. An app used to monitor available channels shows better options might be available, but fortunately, the factory settings don't seem to negatively impact network performance. Another issue involves roaming. Even with fast roaming enabled, this client's phone doesn't always seamlessly switch to the closer mesh unit when moving around the apartment. Specifically, when in the small room, even with a slightly weaker Wi-Fi signal, the phone doesn't always connect to that unit. Our reviewer doesn't quite understand the logic behind how the system chooses which unit to connect to. On the bright side, connecting new devices is straightforward. The user guide correctly states that after initially connecting a 2.4 GHz device, you shouldn't have to manually select that band again when adding similar devices. When this client had trouble connecting their printer to the wireless network, customer support was very helpful and did everything they could to resolve the issue, which was a definite plus. All in all, this wireless mesh system has proven to be a good alternative, especially since our reviewer was experiencing constant disconnections with their smart home devices when solely relying on their cable company's modem.
That's all for today. If you like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments.